Zachar es Yom HaShabbos L'Kachay. Sheshes Yamim Tavod V'Asisa Kol Malatecha. V'Yom HaShvi'i Shabbos LaHashem Aleikecha. Lo Yisaseh Kol Malacha Ata Vincha Vitecha Abdecha V'Amascha U'Behemtecha V'Gercha Asher B'Sherecha. Ki Sheshes Yamim Asa Hashem Es HaShemayim V'Es HaAretz Es hayam v'es kol asher bam, v'yanach v'yom hashvi'i. Al kain, berach Hashem es yom haShabbos, v'yikachehu. Shabbos is considered a pillar of Jewish faith. It has been described as an island in time, a chance to recharge. But what is Shabbos? What is its purpose? Why is it such a central concept in Jewish life? If we dressed in nice clothes, sing Shalom Aleichem during the week, would that feel like Shabbos? On Shabbos, we take a break from our everyday life and work. The Torah has a very specific definition of what it means to rest. Things that are seemingly effortless actions, like writing a note or turning on a lamp, are not allowed. These minor tasks hardly seem like work. When Hashem created the world, He exerted His creative abilities and mastery over the world by speaking different entities into being. On the seventh day, He ceased from doing so. He ceased from creating. In effect, by ceasing to create any more, Hashem created this concept of rest. There is a different energy present in the air on Shabbos than there is during the week. Our Shabbos parallels Hashem's resignation from the creative process. Classifying something as work is not assessed by the amount of sweat that drips from the brow. It is whether this action is a creative change or shows human mastery over nature. Taking a step back and getting an objective view of our lives is extremely important. Shabbos is not primarily about physical rest. It's about entering a different state of mind and state of being that transcends the weekdays. During the week, we alter our surroundings. On Shabbos, we enjoy it for a higher purpose, to connect to Hashem. We temporarily exchange the creative conveniences that technology has given us, and instead, we bask in the blessings that Hashem has given us. Even the most minor of creative tasks, like turning on a light switch, disturb this unity and keep us tied to our physical world. When a Jew embarks on his tasks during the week, he is meant to elevate the world around him. But when one is focused on affecting the world around him, he loses focus on building himself as an individual. When he puts the external creative opportunities on hold, he is then granted the ability to look inward. Shabbos is not only a time of rest from the physical world, but a day to actively engage in ruchnius matters. It's a time to reflect on relationships with others, with Hashem, our Creator, and reestablish commitment to a purpose-driven life. Shabbos attests to belief in Hashem and the pattern He set when creating the world. It also recalls His redeeming the Jewish people from slavery in Mitzrayim. Not only did Hashem create the world in 6 days, but He is also very much involved in our lives. He took us out of Mitzrayim and continues to oversee and interact with His creations. Therefore, weekly Shabbos observance refreshes our faith, instilling within us that Hashem is an active part in our lives. With this secure emunah, we can better endure life's difficult challenges.
Und dorten darf gedenken und wissen, nicht keche weht im Jodi Osserli, es a Chayla se, sie mehr nicht, was Birkas Hashem hi Tashir. Und darf das Wissen nicht nur in Machshove und in Chekil und in Seichel, nur darf wirken und durchnehmen sein an Hoge Bepeel, und wie bald weiß, Birkas Hashem hi Tashir, und sie hängt auf in dem Ebersten, ist doch verstandig, als kommt Freitag vor Nacht, ist soll nicht halten in Namitischer Mischel. Und was weiß sich ist, als kann dabei verdienen, ein größtes Schum stellt Kessel wieso, und kann maftir sein, der von einer chemischen Litzdoko oder noch mehr Litzdoko, ist bei einer sichere Sache, nie das ist sein Verdienst und nie das ist sein Derech, worin sein Parnose kommt von Birkas Hashem, und der Eibischter hat angesagt, dass kommt Freitag vor Nacht, darf als verändigen seine Geschäfte, als soll kommen zu gehen, zu sich heim, beeid Meid, soll sich zugeräten bei Zeiten zu Schabbos, soll reingehen in Schabbos, nicht auf vermatterten oder nesgeruhten.
Shabbos is compared to Mashiach. During the week, we are busy working, and we don't properly take the time to notice that Hashem is running everything in the world. But on Shabbos, we stop working, and we are able to become aware of the fact that Hashem runs everything. So too, in the era of Mashiach, this truth will be obvious and revealed to all. What does it mean to learn? Is it about knowing all the answers and getting 100% on your test? If you've scored perfectly, does that mean your learning is perfect too? Guess what? Myth busted. It's time we learn how to learn. True learning is not about gaining knowledge. Knowledge is not enough. It's only the tip of the iceberg. Here is the realest, most effective way to learn. Step number 1, you gotta get the information. If you don't fill that brain with knowledge, there's nothing to work with. Step number 2, tackle the information. Understand it from different angles. Delve into it until you have a clear, fully developed idea in your mind. Now you have stretched the knowledge from step number 1 into a thought-out concept. Step number 3, the most important step, without which all that knowledge and understanding pretty much goes to waste. This step consists of building a bridge from your mind where the knowledge and understandings are hanging out to your heart, the organ in your body that provides you with feelings. That means taking the concept that you've learned and now know so well and bringing it to your heart. You know you've done this when you can answer the following question. What does all this that I've learned have to do with me? Answer that question. Figure out how the knowledge that you've acquired is relevant to you. The information cannot just remain floating around in your brain. Bring your newfound knowledge to your heart. This learning process is more popularly known as the Chabad Hasidic approach. This is what Chabad is all about. Chabad stands for Chachma, Bina, and Das. Chachma is the idea that we spoke about in step number 1, immature knowledge, the underdeveloped idea. Bina is the idea in step number 2, delving into the concept and understanding it deeply. And finally, we have Das, step number 3. Taking everything we know and truly internalizing it. Figuring out what all these wonderful ideas have got to do with me. Making it personal. That is true knowledge. Here's a sample. There's an idea called Tracht good, wird sein good. Think good, and it will be good. Lovely. That's Chachma. Now for Bina. Chachgut vetzangud. What does that mean? It means to really think and believe that things will be good. The kind of good that I want and that I can see as good. I know that Hashem can and will give me good that is revealed. And finally, Das. I'm taking my driver's test today. I could pass, but I could also fail. No, failing is not an option. Chachgut vetzangud. The outcome will be good, revealed good. I will pass with flying colors. By bringing our understanding down to our hearts, the knowledge and understanding that our brains have acquired permeate our feelings. They then generate a chayas within us for the things that we do. Through this 3-step process of learning Torah, we gain an appreciation for Yiddishkeit. To illustrate this point, there's a story told about a young man, a budding Talmudic genius, who heard that great and wondrous things were being revealed in Mezrich by the Maggid, Rabbi Dovber, successor to the founder of Hasidism, Rabbi Yisrael Baal Shem Tov. Hasidim were not very popular in those days, and were even suspected of heresy by the Jewish establishment. But this young man found in Mezrich what his soul thirsted for, and became a disciple of the Maggid. When he returned home after his first year, he was greeted by his irate father-in-law. "What have you been doing for the last year? What have you accomplished wasting your time with those wild men?" "I learned that God creates the world," answered the young man. "That's what you learned?" yelled his father-in-law. "Fool! Why, even our washerwoman knows that, and she never studied a page of Talmud in her life. Zelda, come here." The washerwoman appeared from the next room, drying her hands, saying, "Yes, sir. What do you want, sir?" "Tell us, please, Zelda." He was trying to be as calm as possible. "Who created this world?" "Why, the Almighty, sir." "You see," he turned to his son-in-law and shouted with rage, "Even she says so." "She says it," said the chassid, "but I know it." This month, let's defy the robot and learn the real way. Hey Beis Rivka, this month we are defying the robotic way in which we keep Kibbud Av V'Em. Do we actually know what we're obligated to do? Or are we just nodding along to whatever our parents say in an attempt to keep the mitzvah? Here's what the Torah teaches we must do. One must provide them with food and drink, clothing and garments, conduct them home and take them out, and rise before them. And one must provide them with all of their needs cheerfully, even if one should feed them daily the most delectable foods, but does so with ill grace, one incurs divine punishment. And conversely, if one makes his father do hard labor, but the intention is good, like to save him from a worse fate, and he appeases his father by showing him that his intention is good, one inherits the world to come. Also, one must perform for parents all such services as a servant performs for his master. And one is duty-bound to render personal services, even at personal expense. To what lengths should the duty of honoring parents go? Even were they to take his purse, full of gold, and cast it into the sea in his presence, he must not shame them, or manifest grief in their presence, or display any anger, but accept the divine decree without demur. Ciao, Beis Rivka. Until next time. Hey, Beis Rivka. We want to stop davening like robots. We want to end lip service forever. I know, it's ambitious, but we can do it. As you saw in the skit, we all totally need davening in our life. We can't deny that we need Hashem. But most of us have a hard time using davening as a tool to connect. Like we said, Chassidus teaches us how to have proper Avodah Shebelev. It's through thoughts that lead to feelings. Meditating about Hashem's greatness and then channeling that into your davening. How many of you say Perek Mem Aleph every single day? Come on, don't be shy. Now, how many of you actually learn it? Good news is, now we're all going to learn it together. So Perek Mem Aleph is one chapter out of 53 chapters in Tanya that was chosen to be every single Yid's little dose of meditation before they start davening. What does it have to offer that's so important and special? In the last few Parakim of Tanya, the Alter Rebbe focused on the importance of Ahava and Yira, fear and love for Hashem, in doing all mitzvahs. Mitzvahs fulfilled without love and fear of Hashem are like a body bereft of its soul. In Perek Mem Aleph, the Alter Rebbe delves specifically into Yira and its importance in Tefillah. For Avodah, divine service, implies an analogy with the manner in which an Eved serves his master, which is a service that comes out of fear. One must constantly bear in mind what is the beginning of divine service as well as what is its root. This means that although fear is the root of turning away from evil and love is the root of doing good, nevertheless, it is not sufficient to awaken the love alone to do good. But at the very least, before performing the positive command, one must first arouse the natural fear which lies hidden in the heart of every Jew, not to rebel against Hashem. So that this fear should manifest itself in his heart, or at least in his mind. This means that in order to arouse within himself that fear, he has to contemplate in his mind the greatness of Hashem. Hashem extends to all worlds, both higher and lower, and even more than that, he fills all worlds, animating them with an indwelling life force that created beings can experience and comprehend. Yet from all the worlds and creations that are his, he does not bestow his kingship upon them so that they call him their God and King. Rather, he uniquely bestows his kingship upon his people Israel in general, for Hashem is known as the King of Israel, and upon him in particular, for a man is obligated to say, "For my sake was the world created." A Jew should remind himself that he or she is the entire purpose and intent of creation. That's crazy. Meditate on that and see how awesome your Creator is then. And when a Jew, for his part, accepts Hashem's kingship on himself, that Hashem be king over him, in order to serve Hashem in all kinds of servile work, then Hashem himself stands over him, and the whole world is full with his glory. And not only being omnipresent does he see everything, but moreover, he scrutinizes him in particular and searches his reins and heart, his innermost thoughts and emotions, to see if the Jew is serving him as is fitting. Therefore, he must serve in his presence with awe and fear, like one standing before the king. Beis Rivka, this little chapter that you say before davening is basically saying you, yes you, sitting in your shul seat listening to this video, are the purpose of creation. In short, Hashem is beyond everything, yet relates to us. The world is here just for Hashem's relationship with the Jewish people and with me in particular. So what I do matters. I accept this relationship and agree to serve Him. God is here. The same Hashem who is beyond everything is watching me to see what I am doing. So, Beis Rivka, try and see if this will help you. Meditate on Perek Mem Aleph. Put effort and heart into your tefillah. And let's defy the robot together.
We all eat, which means we all need to say brachos. But what are brachos, and what have they got to do with food? The mitzvah to say brachos is a mitzvah d'Rabbanan. There are three kinds of brachos. Berachas hana'anin, brachos said before doing something that will give us pleasure, like eating and smelling spices. Berachas mitzvah, brachos said before doing a mitzvah. And berachas shabach v'haida'a, brachos said at certain times and occasions simply in praise of Hashem, like at the sight of a rainbow or thunder and lightning. LaHashem ha'aretz u'melaya, the earth and everything that fills it is Hashem's. Hashamayim shamayim LaHashem, v'ha'aretz nasan livnei Adam. The heavens are to Hashem, and the earth was given to people. Hold it. Is the land Hashem's or is it ours? Every single thing in this whole world belongs to Hashem. Hashem ha'aretz u'melaya. If we use something in this world without acknowledging that it is Hashem's, and without asking Hashem for permission to use it, then we are stealing from Hashem's possessions. So we make a bracha on the food that we eat, asking Hashem for permission to use His world. Only then, the ha'aretz nasan livnei Adam, the world is given to us, people. Only then can we use it. Not only are we acknowledging Hashem as the owner of the entire world and asking Him for permission to use His possessions, we are actually acknowledging Hashem Himself. By having a little conversation with Hashem before putting even a morsel of food into our mouths, we acknowledge that Hashem is the only source of all life. It is not the food that we will eat that sustains us, but the creator and giver of the food. Food is only a means through which Hashem gives us life. Re'evim bam tzemeim nafsham bahem tis'atav. The soul is wrapped in the hunger and in the thirst. When a person is hungry or thirsty, he is supposed to eat or drink, not only to satisfy his hunger pangs, but to nourish the neshama's burning desire to make a bracha on the physical food and focus on the godly life force behind its very existence. The word bracha means to draw down, and that is exactly what a bracha is supposed to accomplish, drawing down Hashem into our lives. Each time we make a bracha, we recognize our source of life and begin to live with an awareness of Hashem. And through doing this, we actually transform the mundane act of eating mundane food into a godly experience. And that is why we are here in this world, to turn it into one big godly experience, or in other words, to bring Mashiach. B'chol derachecha te'ehu. We are commanded to know and acknowledge Hashem, not only in the holy acts that we do, but in every single aspect of our lives, from the way we tie our shoes down to how we eat. Everything that we do must be done with an awareness of Hashem. That's how we bring Hashem into our lives. Of course, in order to attain this awareness of Hashem through making a bracha, we need to actually think about what we are saying when we say it. Which is why this month we will focus on brachas. Ubacharta b'chaim. Be active in recognizing and being aware of your source of life. Yisrufka, are you ready? Let's defy the robot in brachas.
What's going on? I really don't understand.
Going on. What is going on?
What are you gonna
An
Strange things are happening in our school. Unsanitary conditions, pushing in the hallways, suspicious spills, and suspicious gum. What is going on?
We're missing something. Something real, something vital. We're missing menschlichkeit. What is a mensch? A mensch literally translates as a person. A person, as opposed to a cat or a squirrel. A person who has the ability to defy his natural instinct. A person who can stop and think, is this the right thing to do? And assess if it's proper way to interact with her surroundings. The Alter Rebbe writes in the Tanya that every person can and must practice Mayach Shalit al Halev. Our mind must control our heart and our nature. We must be menschlichkeit and defy our nefesh habahamis and its natural desires. That's what it means to be a mensch.
Change! We are going to launch, for the first time ever, Operation Mensch.
Sei ein Mensch!
Be a mensch. Be a mensch. Be a mensch. Be a mensch.
When God created you, He created you with a mission. A mission for you to fulfill. The entire world was created for this mission. If this mission isn't completed, the purpose of the world is not fulfilled. This entire massive universe was created for you to fulfill your mission. And the medium with which to complete this mission, the way to keep the purpose of the world in existence, is through Time. The seconds that turn into minutes, the minutes that turn into hours, the hours that turn into days and weeks, and then make up the sum total of your life. The time is waiting, begging. Please fill me up with meaning, it begs. Please make my creation valid, because without purpose to fill up the time that passes, without filling the time with the mission it was created for, there is no point of it, and the time ceases to exist. A moment past is a moment forever lost. Hashem granted you with a precise amount of time in your life for a precise reason. We have a choice to let it slip by unnoticed or to infuse it with meaning. Time is constantly moving forward in a never-stopping, never-ending rhythm. We can't recapture moments we've lost. We can only make do with the seconds, minutes, and hours that are coming our way. Wasting time is like taking a precious gift someone gave you and ripping it up before their very eyes. Hashem gave you something so precious because He trusted that you'd make use of it. He trusted that you would know what to do with this precious gift, that you wouldn't squander or waste it. How are you going to live up to His unbelievable trust? He's granted you with one of His most precious gifts. What are you going to do about that? Will we let time pass and let ourselves be led by it? Or will we take an active role in the passing time and infuse it with meaning by learning and growing? Like everything in life, it's a choice. Let's defy the robot and make time count.